Hi, I'm Ed Marsh. Welcome to this episode of Signals from the OP. These periodic video blogs let me expand a bit on things I see happening, which I encourage executives at industrial manufacturing firms to keep an eye on. Like a military OP, out ahead of the lines and away from the light and noise, able to pick up faint indications of what might be getting ready to happen, I work to provide that same kind of early warning of strategic business threats and opportunities. Today we're going to channel Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha. Of course, lots of people love his folksy wisdom, but I think one of his best quotes is, "You only find out who's swimming naked when the tide goes out." Now, I live near the coast and we have some pretty decent tides here, but this isn't about some prurient local interest story from the news this summer. Rather, it's about the cyclicality of industrial business. I work with B2B companies, mostly industrial, and many manufacturers. Many of them are actually capital equipment manufacturers, and I have some great success stories in the material handling business, fork trucks, conveyors, that kind of stuff. So this headline recently jumped out at me. The Conveyor Equipment Manufacturers Association reported that its June 2018 booked orders increased 93.7% over the June 2017 orders. That's almost double the volume year over year. And I see lots of manufacturers facing an interesting and contradictory set of conditions. On the one hand, they're busy. Lead times are long, order books are full, they're having a hard time hiring enough factory workers. In fact, I see companies getting orders just because they can deliver something by chance faster than another. It's that easy to write orders right now. But, it's a big but, it's harder to sell. I also hear from the same companies that sales cycles are longer, more quotes get written with a smaller percentage being converted, buying teams are more complex, and the status quo wins more deals. So in other words, business is great because the rising tide lifts all boats. Sure, there are real challenges related to delivering orders, but those are the classic good problems to have. However, when that rising tide starts to go out, the sales challenges become more significant, and that's why I'm using Warren Buffett's quote this week. When the tide goes out, companies that aren't working to fix the underlying marketing and sales issues are going to be embarrassed. Actually, they're going to be hurting. Now, am I predicting a recession? No. That's not my gig. Second, I don't believe there's one that's getting ready to happen in the near future. The Small Business Optimism Index for July was the second highest ever. It just missed a level from 1983. But we know it will turn sometime. And we can probably all agree that there are 10, maybe 20 pending issues, at least, which could trigger it. We won't know, except in retrospect, which one did, but it will happen. And as sure as day follows night, when that happens, there'll be teeth gnashing, and the first thing folks will do is cut marketing. That's what finance folks always recommended, and as companies start to bump up against their loan covenants, the bank may demand it. And while I think that was always a little bit silly, in a world where most of the selling was done directly by field salespeople who generated their own leads, the impact of cutting marketing was manageable. But it's a different world now. Marketing today owns PR, demand gen, most of lead gen, and a substantial portion of the sales process, right through virtual buying journeys that they have to manage via a website. They've also got to create critical sales enablement content that helps sales illustrate outcomes and avoid the features trap. So cutting marketing today would be akin to simply saying, we're going to put in an extra fax machine to handle the volume of incoming orders and cut all our salespeople. You're going to hear crickets. So you're worried about finding trucks to carry your products, workers to make them, and expensive raw materials to buy. I get it. It's an inconvenient time to be thinking about driving more leads and sales. But if you don't take advantage of the good time now, refining sales process, identifying and cultivating target accounts, building optimized content, aligning sales and marketing, establishing a customer-focused revenue growth function, etc., you're going to be digging your way out of a deep hole when the time comes. Actually, that's kind of mixing analogy. So going back to where I started, you'll find that the riptide strips your bathing suit off and you'll be stuck naked as the tide goes up. I'm going to be talking in an upcoming Signals from the OP about what industrial companies can learn about marketing and sales from software companies. So if you're kind of tightening the string on your bathing suit, wondering what else you could do to prepare, keep your eye out for that. I think there's some interesting lessons to be learned. In the meantime, I'm Ed Marsh. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Signals from the OP. If you enjoyed it, please share it. I'd welcome you to subscribe, which you can do at edmarshspeaks.tv or through the blog related to these periodic videos, signalsfromtheop.com. edmarshspeaks.tv and signalsfromtheop.com. Thank you.